Evan from K-Enabled Fitness, and today we are going to be talking about a movement that has helped so many people eliminate knee pain when getting up out of a chair. And it's going to be able to get your hips much more activated and hopefully limit knee stress throughout the rest of your life as well. It is a wide stance chair squat. So I love teaching this one to people because it keeps them from putting too much shear stress on their knees, where their knees really jam forward and really bug them, and it makes getting up and down out of a chair a complete pain. So let's go ahead and dig into this movement, how to do it, even if you're visually impaired, and make sure that you know how to utilize this in your everyday life to get all the benefits. So first, we need to make sure that we're in a nice, safe setup. So I have a nice sturdy chair. Don't want to be doing this with any swivel chairs, and also the chair does not have any arms on it. That's very important as well in order to make sure we're able to spread out our hips as much as possible. Then for an extra layer of safety, I definitely recommend this. I have the chair backed up against the wall so it's nice and sturdy. There is going to be a lot of horizontal motion, and if you initially start doing this and almost falling back because your hips aren't used to this motion, then there's going to be a little bit of sliding possible. So make sure that your chair setup is in the best safest way possible. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my feet with the outside of, or my legs, sorry, outside the legs of the chair. That is going to allow my hips to be nice and wide. It's going to feel a little bit foreign. That's okay for now. That's the whole point. Toes are going to be turned out. And then what I'm going to do is, in this wide stance, I'm going to sit down to the chair. And if you accidentally flop down, that's more than okay, because you're going to start getting used to being able to control the hips in this range of motion. And if you mess up, all of a sudden you can't stabilize yourself, you lose balance, boom, you're there in a chair anyway. So in order to get the proper action at the hips, I don't want to think about my knees jamming forward first. I want to initiate with my hips. And where I want to put them is thinking about the back of the chair, where that meets the seat of the chair, that corner. Instead of sitting just to where a pad or the middle of the seat is, I want to sit my butt all the way back towards that back corner. So in order to do that, my chest is going to come down, keeping my core nice and tight, pushing those knees out in that wide stance, and arrive here, seated. And you'll notice that because my knees are out so much and my feet are out so much, it really opens up this big window in between to be able to activate my hips better. So when I get back up, I want to lean forward without rounding over. So nice proud chest, keep that open, and then eventually you're going to get to this feeling of like, oh, I can really stomp through my hips. So once I get to that point, I just boom, stomp through my hips, shoot my hips through, and we're all good to go from there. So as long as we're letting those knees come out, open up those hips, sit back, and then nice and tight, lean forward through that window and stomp through my heels, then that tends to eliminate a lot of knee pain for a lot of people. In fact, one time I was working with an older woman, and she started doing this squat and got 2 reps in and then sat down and started screaming at me. And I thought this lady was having a stroke. And I was like, ma'am, are you okay? And she goes, oh, yeah, I didn't hear my knees pop, so I thought I went deaf. This woman literally thought that she went deaf before she thought she wouldn't hear her knees cracking every time that she sat down. So this is really good for taking out a lot of that crepitus and then a lot of that shear stress. So we're going to get less pain and be able to get better and better at activating our biggest muscles in our body, our glutes and our hamstrings. So make sure you keep practicing sitting back and then firing back up. Remember to come up as explosively as you can with good form. That's going to activate more muscles and get you more conditioned to be able to get the benefits of this exercise. Okay, so why should we squat in this manner and use this as a good exercise? What we want to think about is this is like a pendulum. So on one side of the pendulum, we have very quad, knee dominant squats. That's where you're going to have people getting out of chairs with their feet very narrow, toes pointed very far forward, and shooting those knees forward before sitting back and down. A lot of times you're going to run out of ankle doing that as well, so then people have to round their backs or whatever, or just kind of flop down. I've noticed this a lot at church, where you'll hear a lot of people just all of a sudden, boom, thud, hit the pew. What we want to do is go very hip dominant, swing that pendulum all the way over to hip, glute, hamstring dominant squat, and get really good at being able to do that, and then we can bring it back somewhere a little bit more normal. So utilizing this as an exercise until you're able to have a little bit more of a normal looking squat. Again, you don't want to be in public splaying out and then dominantly standing up, but it's going to be able to teach you at home to be able to utilize those hip muscles a lot better. So then we can have a little bit wider stance squat, turn those toes out, allow those hips to activate, sit a little bit more back and down, and then have those knees a lot happier so that getting up and out of a chair isn't such a huge pain for you. Okay, now how to program this. I would start out nice and gentle by doing 3 to 5 reps every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. If you are blind or visually impaired, like a lot of the people that I work with, and myself as well, you can go ahead and just start an interval timer that beeps at the top of every minute, hit your 3 to 5 reps, rest conveniently on the chair for the rest of that time. You can also start building up those reps. So let's say you do 10 sets of 3, and then next time you do 10 sets of 4, 10 sets of 5. You're able to build up that density and the amount of volume, and that's going to get you really used to this. And you think about it, if you do 50 reps in a workout, especially scrunched into 10 minutes, you're going to be getting a lot better really quickly. Just make sure that you're erring on the side of quality over quantity and really get used to being able to squat in this way. Now, resources. We have a ton of stuff if you need to work on your foot balance and strength, and then a lot of gym acclimation programs and other things on our website at canenablefitness.com, CANEANDABLE fitness.com. I really encourage you to go check that out, as well as the 50-something articles that we have up at this point. If you want me to review your wide stance chair squat, you are more than welcome to send a DM to our Instagram page and give us a follow while you're at it. Again, that's just canenablefitness. You could also potentially email me at canenablefitness@gmail.com if you want a review or have any questions about this.